Hello, my name is Marcus. My group members are Nikita and Isabel. As a group, we have chosen to focus on sustainability goal number 3. This goal consists of ensuring healthy lives and promotes well-being for all at all ages. Healthy well-being is very important for everyone. As a group, we've collectively decided to focus on this goal. One of our parents works with children with mental illness in the Gold Coast Private and Public Hospital. This inspired us to investigate and help people in need that struggle with autism, anxiety, depression and ADHD.
As a group, we decided on the following way to deliver our solution, which was to create a formal website selling our handcrafted sensory bears called Fidgety Friends. We've also provided a donation system on our website to donate to local children's hospitals.
The process of making Fidgety Friends takes about 4 hours at the moment, but in the future our aim is to decrease the time for construction.
Our products are handcrafted sensory bears and DIY bear boxes. The pre-made bear and DIY box comes with 2 sensory attachments, a marble mesh and a mini zipper.
We chose to use marble mesh and mini zippers as they are quiet sensory attachments and avoid unnecessary distraction for other people or children around the bear. Our DIY boxes include the ears of the bear, the head of the bear, and the body of the bear. We also provide 3 buttons, 6 pins, and a fabric 26 by 30 centimeters. We include a marble mesh, some foam you can put inside the bear, and a thread. It also comes with a bag of fluff. These are our completed bears. They have a marble mesh and they have a zipper attached to it. We have 2 prototypes at the moment, but aiming to make more.
One major refinement our group made was transitioning from physical donation to Gold Coast hospitals to an online website which allows people all over the world to access our services. Another major change was creating a DIY bear box to allow children to create their own bears using our materials and sewing templates.
In the future, we look at expanding our website into physical stores around Australia using Kickstarter, a global crowdfunding platform focused on creativity to help psychologists and parents of children with psychological issues have easier access to our services. Another future development will be to have online stencils for our bears on websites for people to download for low prices to create their own bears.
The UN goal we are focusing on is quality education. We want to positively impact the poorer communities, specifically the African communities. The worst literacy rates in the world are found in Chad, Niger, Mali and South Sudan. All these communities have below 40% of the population being able to read and write. This problem can be fixed with a better education system. We want to create an enjoyable and fun education experience for the less fortunate kids, which can possibly impact these communities by creating the products through an environmentally friendly way.
Our idea is to help the less fortunate education systems is to create recycled crayons. We collected the unused crayons and melted them, creating bigger and reformed crayons. This project will engage children and create a fun learning environment. We will also create a charity website so that the crayons can be transported and accessible for these kids.
To melt the crayons, we used a water bath. This was set at the temperature of 80 degrees, which is an efficient temperature so that the crayons can melt within 15 minutes. Each of the unused crayons were weighed by 80 grams to create 4 recycled crayons.
These failed prototypes were unsuccessful due to the inability to remove the crayons. This created problems where the crayons would fall apart, also not being able to be a full crayon, due to the liquid crayon not being able to reach the edges in the mould.
The failed crayons were made with this first prototype. This was a critical learning point on realising that we may need to create a new prototype, because when opening the mould, the crayon would split in half.
The final prototype had the space to create 4 new crayons. The top of the mould had a funnel so that there was minimal spillage and allowing all the crayons to be even. The bottom of the mould would separate so that the tips of the crayons can easily be taken out. This was later included a handhold with a device that would push the crayons out in an effective way.
When looking at the final crayons, it is obvious that they worked, but in a less effective way. This was due to the crayons being attached on the inside and creating difficulties when pulling them out, as they would break when pushing. This could later be improved to create a more functional design of a crayon. These are the crayons that we melted and recycled. These were the crayons that we used to recycle them. This is the final mould with the detachable point where it can, and this is where we push out the crayons, which fits into here. And then this is our logo.
When looking at an important refinement, our mould design comes to mind. This is because through all the prototyping, our final design was effective in holding 4 crayons, which efficiently made functioning crayons. This was important to our project because it was fundamental to use an effective mould design.
For the future of our project, we made a website which holds a charity page to promote our charity. So as you can see on the left is the front cover of our charity page, which promotes our what we're doing and why we're doing it. And then on the right is our donation page, which people can donate to with multiple donations.
STEAM Project 4.
We picked Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. This goal was created to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. Achieving this goal will open up a new world of opportunities for millions of people through new economic opportunities and jobs, empowered women, children and youth, better education and health, more sustainable, equitable and inclusive communities, and resilience to climate change.
What needs improvement? There are 5 specific targets inside these goals. These are: ensure universal access to affordable, reliable and modern energy services, increase substantially the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix, double the improvement of energy efficiency, promote access to research technology and investments in clean energy, and expand and upgrade energy services for developing countries.
The specific target of our project is Target 7.2. Increase substantially the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix. We will assist in completing this target by creating a way to collect energy through means that don't harm the planet, like burning fossil fuels, which contributes to almost 80% of global energy production. Although it may be hard to have an effect on the global energy mix, any progress is still progress that will help complete Goal 7 by 2030.
Our solution.
Our prototype uses a triangle tile. This is because of the benefits that is gained from it, such as the shape almost always activating the electricity generator perfectly, and triangles being more durable for human interaction like walking and running. Beneath the tile is a magnet and copper coil electromagnetic generator with springs on each corner of the tile.
How does it work?
This design generates clean electricity by compressing springs and moving a magnet through a copper coil. This works because metals like copper have electrons that are loosely held, and moving a magnet around or through a coil of wire pushes electrons in the wire and creates an electrical current.
Real-world applications.
We have 4 locations that these pressure plates could be placed to generate electricity. Large crossings such as Shibuya Crossing in Japan, where estimated 1,000 to 2,500 people walk over every 2 minutes. Theme parks like Disney World, Disneyland, and Universal Studios, where about 12 million to 17 million people visit each year. Large airports such as the Los Angeles International Airport, where annual attendance in 2019 was 88,700,000 people. Lastly, they could be placed on roads or highways to power light and detect when cars travel over it, so the street lights don't stay on forever.
a major refinement we made was coiling a more compact copper coil. This is because a compact coil generates more electricity due to the magnet passing through more wire and faster. This is our first coil. As you can see, it generates just as much electricity. Not very much. But this is our newer coil. It is longer, which means it can be more compact. This one generates about double as much electricity on average. Our hope for this design would be that it could be implemented into large areas with a lot of foot traffic. We think this is achievable because unlike other projects similar to ours, our design is much cheaper, mostly using materials accessed from this science lab. We think there is potentially a lot of energy that could be gained by harnessing the kinetic energy from people walking, contributing to Goal 7 of United Nations Sustainability Goals.
Annually, 12 million tonnes of plastic is dumped into the ocean. 1.75 tonnes is directly chucked into the sea by the fishing and shipping industry. Currently, the ocean stores approximately 51 trillion pieces of microplastic pollution, which weighs 269,000 tonnes. This is an overwhelming issue that must be solved.
We have chosen to focus on Goal 14, Life Below Water. This goal focuses on saving marine life.
We chose this goal because marine life is suffering drastically from the pollution in the ocean.
Although we understand solving the issue of marine plastic pollution altogether is slim, we are passionate about spreading awareness and encouraging action through our project. We've been researching organisations that are trying to clean up our oceans. One of these companies is Ocean Cleanup.
They deploy systems to clean up the large pieces of debris as well as the small microplastics. And they clean up the garbage patches, as well as preventing rubbish from entering the oceans in the first place.
Seabin is another one of these companies. They deploy Seabins into plastic pollution hotspots like Sydney to capture microplastics and plastic pollution daily. They then process the data for monitoring and sell it to companies for sustainability research. As a company, Seabin has evolved into an innovative smart cities program and financial model where they still use their technology to help monitor plastic pollution.
What are we going to do? We will be creating an artwork to raise awareness about the effects of ocean pollution. We'll create a painting that will include pieces of rubbish and scrap 3D printed parts. So we've gone to the beach to collect some of the rubbish.
This first painting will have fish in the bottom of the ocean made out of soy sauce packets, and we may also add some rubbish that the fish can be diving for, and it'll sit in the top right hand of our display.
So the next painting will have fish added. The next painting will be at the corner of the artwork. It shows a cargo ship releasing oil into the ocean. I'll change the sky because some parts are a bit discolored, as well as tidying up the cargo ship containers. At the moment, I wasn't thinking of adding rubbish to the bottom because of the small amount of ocean, but I was thinking of adding a sea turtle.
This is the next painting, and it'll include the shark, and it'll be trapped in a fishing net, and it'll sit in the middle left.
So the next painting is of a jellyfish and will go in the middle right of the display. I'll touch up the ocean as well as adding more wave detail and adding rubbish found at the beach, such as chip packets and lolly wrappers.
This painting, there'll be more details added on these pieces of coral with 3D printed scraps, and the seahorse will also be holding a straw. And I may actually add a hermit crab using a bottle cap as a shell. And this painting will sit in the bottom right corner.
So the last painting shows the ocean floor and will go at the bottom left. At the moment it looks very plain, but lots of details will be added. So on the screen there's grey space, but it's already been changed to the sand, and there'll be rocks added, as well as coral on the rocks and jellyfish on the sand. And rubbish will be added throughout.
Our painting will be displayed in the format of the blue boxes, and it will be hung up where that whiteboard sits in the classroom.
So this is what it will look like. A draft version of what it will look like altogether. We also created a website to display our information and the painting process. On the home page, we will showcase a photo of each of the paintings, and the About Us page will feature information about the art.
We'll have a page information about ocean pollution.
We'll create a QR code for our website that'll sit beneath the artwork where that red bubble is, and it'll take you to the website so you can learn more about ocean pollution and our process in creating the painting.
Thank you. Overall, we were successful and followed our SMART goal. However, we were ambitious with how fast we could complete the paintings, as we ended up creating the canvases until the end. Using the website was also quite annoying, and we would both try to edit at the same time, but it wouldn't allow it. So next time we would probably stick to a PowerPoint.
There wasn't really many problems with this first painting. It was mainly just that I had to paint over the tips of the wings to get rid of some of the white under the canvas.
The next painting, there wasn't much changes that I had to make, except I had to change the colour of the sky because it was too close to the ocean, and I had to change the colour of the boat because it was too dull.
There was not really any problems with the painting in this one. However, when I was stitching the net, I had to use two different threads, like a thin one and a thick one, and the thin one was a bit too thin and I couldn't see it well as it blended in with the ocean, and the thick one was too thick and it was pulling on the canvas, but it made a cool effect how it had a loop of fishing line in with the net.
So no major refinements were made. I just had to fix the jellyfish colour because the paint that I used was too see-through, so I made it thicker. But if I were to redo it again, I would probably make it higher on the canvas so it would be stretched out more. But I'm really happy with how it is, so I extended the jellyfish tentacles to the bottom of the canvas so it looked longer as well.
The super glue wouldn't stick very well for the bottle lid and the 3D printing scraps, so I had to hold them down while it dried and reapply super glue a lot of times.
So major refinements for this was half of it was
fully dark grey for rocks, but I changed it to sand, so I changed the colour of the whole sand to a lighter sand and made smaller rocks filled with coral, which then I added the can tabs and I added a turtle at the ends.
Overall, I think we were successful and we're very happy with the outcomes of our painting. We would have to manage our time a bit better next time, and we could have gotten the photo together earlier so we could have had time to create our QR code. In the future, our art could be displayed in a public place, like at schools or museums, and it can increase awareness and start conversations about changing the behaviour to our ecosystem.
This term's STEAM project is focused around UN sustainability goals. I'm Emmanuel, and this is my group partner, Rihan. The UN goal we selected was a third UN sustainability goal, which is ensuring good health and well-being for everyone. We picked this goal because we believe health and well-being is a fundamental value for everyone. It doesn't matter what race, nationality, or where you come from. It affects everyone. It also affects a wide range of issues, and it's not just a specific aspect of one goal.
The issue being investigated is older people and people with mental impairments taking medicine incorrectly. 3 to 19% of people who take prescriptive medications develop an addiction to them, and approximately 125,000 deaths per year in the United States are due to medication non-adherence. The solution we are deciding to create addresses these issues by getting older people these medicines safely in the correct amounts and at the correct time. The prototype we have created is a pill dispenser suited for elderly people, normally with mentally impairing illnesses. This has a locking mechanism to ensure that they take their medicine at the correct time and do not take an excessive amount.
We ordered several online parts, putting together a working lock mechanism and utilising a tutorial for Arduino to put together the parts. The examples of the parts we used are here, which is a Bluetooth receiver. Here's the locking devices. Here's Arduino R3. And here is the receiver.
Once we created the lock, we found simple code that helps monitor when the lock opens and shuts, meaning that a doctor or a trusted figure can manage when the patient accesses the medicine and how much they have access to. This can connect to devices with Bluetooth or plug-in.
Once the lock was finished, the mechanism, a 3D print design of a pill organizer was created. Making 2 large compartments, we separated the motherboard and we separated the pill dispenser. We used Tinkercad for this process.
The 3D print was successfully completed and we drilled a hole the size of the lock so we could reach it, restricting it from being opened when the lock was in place.
This is our final prototype, with the 3D printed dispenser opening and shutting with the lock. For our final design, the electronic compartments will be bigger and covered, so the customer cannot tamper with the device, as well as restricting the loose wires that are clearly exposed.
There are several future possibilities for innovation after this prototype. This can include creating a dispensing system by connecting it to a timer so the pill dispenser both unlocks and dispenses medicine once it is the correct time. Another idea is to code an app which can connect to this dispenser to enable communication with the doctor and manage dosage amounts.
Okay. So here is our final prototype. This is the motherboard, which controls all the actions and the coding. This is a Bluetooth receiver, which sends a Bluetooth signal to other devices. Here's our lock, which you can see turning on and off, which locks into this part, restricting the pill container so they cannot grab their medicine. And here's a 5-volt relay controlling the electrical circuit towards the locking mechanism. The way it works is it's supplied by a battery, which supplies the lock with power, and then my computer or device of choice supplies the motherboard with power to send a signal. The lock inserts here. allowing this compartment to close down and lock. So then it restricts the client or customer from retrieving their medicine when they shouldn't be. Here's it when it's locked, as you can tell by the red LED. It does not extend more, as you can see the lock moving. And now this is it when it's fully unlocked. Just comes out undone. I'm Emmanuel, and this is my partner Rihan. Over the course of 3 months, we've been working on our UN sustainability goal, and we've designed a pillbox for the medical adherence, meaning those should take their medicine on time and consume it. While making our project, there was multiple refinements over the course of 3 months. In our first print, the size of 3D print posed a limitation. Due to its smaller size, it couldn't fit the Arduino board, and all the wiring and the electronics were hanging out, leaving as an electrical hazard. The pill compartment was also too small to fit traditional medicine, as shown here. It could barely fit like 3 pills. We created a larger application so it could fit more medicine and could fit the entire board inside. As well as fitting the entire board, we had to reduce the size of it by removing the plastic container around it.
A future pathway for the development of this design is open source code. This allows for customization, enabling the device to be adapted to suit each patient's needs. It allows for device modifications, such as coding for larger sizes or adjusting the dosage schedule to align with the patient's requirements. Open source encourages collaborative development, meaning healthcare professionals and developers can contribute to improvements and new features, making the device more versatile. With open source, bugs and issues can be identified and fixed more rapidly, leading to a more reliable and user-friendly device.
Finally, we've installed a Bluetooth module inside of our device, allowing for phone application and linkability, meaning you can easily communicate with doctors, patients, family members to make sure that patients eat their medicine. This can be expanded on in the future of our device.
Sustainability Goal 6 focuses on ensuring everyone has clean access to water, sanitation, and it's essential for health, well-being, and sustainable future. Clean water and proper sanitation are fundamental human rights. Over 2 billion people lack clean drinking water, and 4.2 lack proper sanitation. These challenges are most severe in rural and developing areas. Without action, these numbers will continue to grow. Achieving Sustainable Goal 6 will transform lives by providing access to clean water and sanitation. This leads to healthier communities, stronger economies, and a cleaner environment. It also helps combat climate change while protecting vital water resources. Ensuring everyone has these basic needs fulfilled, it is crucial for a fair and sustainable future, where no one is left behind. Together we can make this a lasting difference for generations to come. My prototype and solution. What is the problem? The problem being solved is that the access to clean water and sanitation, but I will be mainly focusing on clean water. This is a problem mainly targeted to people in third world countries and developing countries who need help. For this project, I will be focusing on Sustainable Goal 6.1 and 6A, which are to improve the quality of water so it is reusable and safe to drink, and expand water and sanitation support to developing countries. For my solution, I have made a portable water filter that cleans and filters out dirt, chemicals and bacteria in water. I wanted to make a light filter that is efficient in terms of waste. To make this happen, I made all parts of the filter interchangeable, which means if one compartment needs changing, you do not need to get rid of the entire filter, just a section. This helps with reducing waste in the long run. Here are some photos of my prototype. Who will use my product? The countries most at risk are those developing nations to water scarcity, flooding and low water quality. Inadequate access to clean water and sanitation can be blamed for up to 80% of diseases in impoverished nations. Third world countries don't have good clean water, which could end up making them sick. Water filtration can help clean nasty chemicals and heavy metals out of the water, making it safe to drink, and also getting rid of bad smells and tastes from the chlorine and bacteria. Okay, so here is my prototype. So in each of these sections here hold different filtering media. So I've got carbon, mineralizing balls and Mayfair stones, all which do different purposes. So I've got two sections of carbon and then a section of mineralizing balls and then a section of Mayfair stones. These two parts here connect to bottles, which are useful when they filtering. So take this bottle here and screw on like this, and then it can connect back onto filtering device, and you'd have the water run through into another bottle down here, which will have the clean water. So each of these sections with the filter do different things. So first ones we've got is the carbon and the Mayfair stones. So these are the stones, this is the carbon, and this are the mineralizing balls. Each of the different colors of balls, the black, the red and the white, do different things. They boost biological activity, which gets rid of heavy metals and also bacteria and living organisms in the water as it filters through. So my filter is a gravitational one, so it flows downwards. The stones help for water remineralization, removing heavy metals while releasing essential minerals known for strong earth vibration, which is rich in silicon dioxide and trace minerals, making it ideal for revitalizing empty water. So the carbon helps remove odors and tastes, but regular carbon can foster bacterial growth, potentially leading to illness if contaminated water is ingested. So the carbon that I'm currently using is silver impregnated carbon filter, which is bariostatic, using silver ions to inhibit bacteria, making them ideal for longer use as they prevent mold and smells and odors coming back. So thank you for listening to my prototype. improvement that I made was fusing the cylinder and the sieves together. This made it easier because it was easy for use, and then just putting the filter together overall. This is also better because it takes less time to put the filter together, and it's less moving parts for customer use. So what is the future of my product? The future of my project is making filters on a larger scale and then shipping them to countries in need, like third world countries or very population dense countries. All of my filtration media that was used comes in 20 kilo bags opposed to the 600 and 900 gram bags that I had. Making this filter on an easier process where I could print more than 3 at a time on a single printer. This could large scale my printing, and this would make it easier to print more than 1 at a time. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, this is my presentation on our STEAM project, where we had to choose one of the 17 UN Sustainability Goals. For this task, I chose Goal 6, which focused on safe drinking water, better sanitation, sustainable water use, and reduced pollution of water. I originally chose Goal 6 because I saw an anime character build a filtration machine that helped his friends and family get safe drinking water. I wanted to recreate that, and Goal 6 just so happened to align with my task. Then, Miss Jones made me research Goal 6, and within the first 10 seconds I found out that 1 in 3 people don't have safe drinking water, and because of it, 1 million people die each year. 60% of that happens just within 10 countries out of the hundreds that there are. After I learned that, my goals shifted from wanting to create something cool to wanting to create something cool and help some people, because I don't really think it's fair that some people have to worry every time they take a sip. My solution was to essentially just create a water distiller. It would collect energy from a water wheel, which would then heat up a nichrome wire using a parallel circuit. We would collect the steam that was coming off of the boiling water, which left all of the contaminants in the bottle. The water that came from the steam would be completely clean with nothing in it except for the water. Here we can see my latest prototypes. We have the water wheel and the other thing on the left. The results here, after 20 minutes of continuous heating, we got about 60 milliliters of water with 25 milliliters turning into steam. Hello all, this is my presentation on the major improvement that I made to my design. This was about creating a more stable base for the parts of the water wheel to attach to, making the force more evenly distributed so nothing broke, as it was held together in the middle by a wooden skewer. I prototyped in multiple sizes so that each piece would fit in perfectly without needing for adjustment. Here we can see how it works. It's just you put it in and it holds there. We can see this working in figure 13. The water wheel spun really well and was held together. In this prototype, nothing broke due to the middle of the holdy thingamajig. To improve my design, I would require a bigger water wheel and better generators, as both simply do not have the capacity to generate enough energy. Next time, I would focus on creating a more powerful energy source, as everything but the energy source worked perfectly. I would consider this as a success, as it proved the proof of concept, showing that in theory it can work, just in my case it didn't work well enough. For implementation in the real world, I would expect it to be a much bigger contraption, providing much more distilled water and energy. The main process will stay essentially the same, as it is an extremely simple one. The materials used should be similar, excluding the 3D print, as it would be replaced with a much sturdier material such as wood/steel.
Advanced STEAM UN Sustainability Goals Project. The goal I selected as my focus was Goal 11, to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable, and I specifically focused on resilience. I focused on resilience as it's a local issue because Australia is susceptible to many natural disasters. The 2019-20 bushfires destroyed over 3,000 buildings and killed at least 34 people, showing the effects of natural disasters on Australia. The specific issue I've chosen is disaster prevention, specifically protection of homes from bushfire damage. Some potential ideas for my solution are a sprinkler system, but instead of using water it could use fire retardant that's more effective at stopping fire from spreading. Or it could also be a drone that can fly over houses when there's a bushfire and cover them with retardant. It could be a drone similar to the one on the left, but instead of dropping poison canisters it could drop retardant. My prototype. The design of my prototype is a box that holds foam and then a weighted plate drops down and pushes it out of the nozzle at the bottom. This design would be split up into 3 parts later on for easier printing. That's a photo of when it was printing. The first finished prototype put together, the weight plate was slightly too small, so it left too much gap. So I had to make a larger one as there was foam escaping out the sides. I then refined the nozzle as the first one had a bit of damage when it was printing, and also the gap was too large, so I made it smaller and smoother. I then did a test with fire retardant foam, and as you can see it worked pretty well. One major refinement that I made was to make this weight plate a bit larger because the first one had too much gap and slid down too fast. By reducing the gap, we would force more fire retardant out the bottom of the container. And another major refinement was adding more holes to the nozzle so it spread in a more 360-degree area. As you can see with the new refined weight plate, it goes down much smoother and doesn't leave as much gap. In the future, my model could be refined and printed as in different materials or created in metal, so it would last a bit longer, and it could be sold to people that are in bushfire prone areas so they can protect their house.
Healthy oceans and seas are essential to our existence. They cover 70% of our planet and we rely on them for our food, energy and water. Yet we have managed to do tremendous damage to these precious resources. We must protect them by eliminating pollution and overfishing and immediately start to responsibly manage and protect all marine life around the world.
The goal that we are targeting is Goal 14, Life Below Water. The reason for that is that as humans, we have a moral obligation to try and fix the environmental problems that we cause. And ocean pollution is only caused by humans and the invention of plastic. Not only is it a moral obligation, but water is crucial for the survival of any living being, and without it, there would be no life. So why do we pollute our waters and make them undrinkable and unhealthy with microplastics, oils and junks?
In the ocean, plastic debris injures and kills fish, seabirds, and marine mammals. Marine plastic pollution has impacted 267 species worldwide, including 86% of all sea turtle species, 44% of all seabird species, and 43% of all marine mammal species.
Approximately 12 million tons of rubbish annually is found in the oceans, with 1.75 tons of it being directly dumped into the oceans. This is exactly why sea pollution needs to be brought up in conversation, as humans are the very thing polluting these oceans, and only we have the power to stop it. For our solution, we have created a game on the coding engine known as Scratch, which includes water physics, gravity, dropping, and much more in order to spread awareness about the pollutions in our oceans by creating a fun and interactive simulator.
These are the first sketches that we created for the sprites within our game. Besides the backdrops, water, and other sprites, these sprites are the droppable items within the game that include a rubbish bag, a plastic bag, and a plastic bottle with rubber tires.
After creating the initial sketches, we developed them further into our final sketches that you can see on the screen. This includes all 3 previous sketches that were made and put into Scratch for the final game. We opted for a more pixelated design to match the aesthetic of the game and to give it a more childlike and retro feel, which would entice more people.
The coding is quite possibly the most difficult part of the design process, as it requires a lot of knowledge and is extremely precise. In order to add more things, different codes must be optimized so that it does not get in the way of our new code. This is our website. We made it to create awareness. We start on the home page. You look down, it tells you about the mission of our project and our goal. And then if you go to the other tab called game, this is the game we made.
It's a showcase of our game, which is actually a Scratch project. It's where you drop rubbish into the ocean, and it's meant to foster curiosity for kids. And it shows them how ocean pollution can affect our oceans.
Here on the process slide, we give a little insight into what we went through to come up with this.
The second paragraph here talks about the United Nations goal, which is actually what we're trying to solve. It's about ocean pollution and life under the sea.
This is our final project that we've made. It isn't perfect yet, but we can definitely expand it into the future and come up with a really good game. It's a good start for what we want to achieve. This is some more background research, which really helps you understand why we chose this goal and what we want to solve.
As for going into the future, we'd like to try and expand the game by making it on a different coding engine so that it can be more polished and a bit finer, so there's a bit more creative freedom. And that we hope to publish it out to schools and kids so that they can learn and use this in their classrooms.
Alright. UN Sustainability Goal Project by Tig, Juno and Jag. The goal we picked was goal 7, to create more electrical power and access, or give more power to more people.
Because we believe that more sustainable and green energy will assist in propelling the world forward and create a new era for humanity, green energy will mean that mining will be reduced as people no longer need to look for coal. On top of that, greenhouse gas emissions will be reduced, making a cleaner Earth.
We're going to develop a way for hikers to generate power. Over 48% of hikers and over 50,000 rescue attempts are made per year. Hikers often get lost while on trails, and if you lose power, then it's nearly impossible to make it back. Our solution is about creating a way for hikers to get back to the track or call for help if they lose power.
We are looking to design either something like a pack to bring while hiking or an attachment which can be added to an existing pack. If we utilize the pack, then we would have to design a whole pack and how our gear could compromise the pack. Making addition to a pack would streamline the process, as we could design an addition for existing pack.
STEAM solution by Tig, Juno and Jack.
Our solution is a pretty simple idea. The core concept is making it easy to print wind turbine with a few easy to buy parts, can be put together relatively quickly and can be used to make some emergency extra power in the event of a power.
Our first prototype uses large fins which can be made in parts and mounted to a base to begin spinning. This design would likely need the most amount of printing and have the most weight, which would be less effective than the other designs and would also take longer. The added weight would also mean that there would be more wind power to push it.
This design could be printed in one part or could be printed in halves and then put together. This design would also need a base to be printed to mount the blades onto. The fins themselves are straight and unlike the curved designs of many other wind turbines.
This is the third prototype. This uses a curved blade design which is a bit more aerodynamic and it only uses two blades instead of three. The initial print had to be stopped halfway, though the second one came out quite nice and quite smooth. For our final project, we decided that we were going to use a curved blade design as it was the most efficient in being able to catch the wind out of all three of our prototypes. It was also the simplest design to print and only needing one part, and because of this it makes it much easier for consumers to modify or scale the project up or down.
In the future, we will process this by catching other design and starting up the project online as an STL for people to download and print in their own time.